Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sattology means science of truth or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which means science or study of fake, lie, or imagination. So again, part two of Dhanurved today. See, the thing is, Hindus were defanged by the mythology campaign. They were told that their ancestors, they were first confused on did Mahabharata ever happen? Second, they were confused on Aryans came from Europe. Third, they were purposely confused by the academics and the politicians combined that India never existed as a one country. And fourth was that the 1,000 years of Mughal rule, which is totally wrong, not correct. Mughals maximum ruled 135 to 145 years, not more than that. And the fifth, they were confused that the British ruled for 300 years, 200 years. British ruled for only 90 years, from 1857 to 1947. You can calculate it. And so all these confusions were given to defang the Varnashram culture, attack Brahmana because Brahmanas protect the society, attack Kshatriya. You can see all the media, all the Kshatriyas are shown as looters. So there are multiple ways Hindus were attacked to capture their land and the resources. That was the only goal. And the most of the planning was done by the Europeans, your favorite British and other historians and other people in the history. So today, Hindus are looking up to police for protection because police and the police was designed to protect the British colonial rule. Indian police laws have not changed till date. It's still the same way. So a lot of things have happened, but now it's time to get back to basics, learn from Mahabharata. That's why Mahabharata was banned, so that the Hindus don't learn and build up the society. Because Varnashram is not what it described. It is described to you by many scholars. Varnashram is the system where the Brahmanas are put into maximum check. They have 9 qualities to fulfill before they are called a Brahmana. It's a title. And anyone can become it. And there are 7 qualities for a Kshatriya, exclusive. There are no overlapping qualities between Brahman and Kshatriya. And Vaishya, which was also another set of 3 qualities. And like this, the society was divided. And so today we'll continue in the part 2 of the Dhanurved series. So we were talking about we stopped last time at the Shabd, where by hearing the sound, you can see how you can throw the arrow. So without delay, let's welcome Sri Pankaj Gandhi. Welcome,
Right,
Pankaj.
namaste everyone, and gonna share my screen quick, and we can go from there onwards.
Yeah. You saw how many things I could say on the fingers, tip of the fingers, how Hindus were defanged, right?
Yep.
You don't need any big lecture, nothing. It's just tip of the fingers, like 6
Yes.
points. And
yeah, and also if I can add a little bit on the Varnashram, because like excuse me, a lot of people assume that it's exactly like how the caste system is, like upper caste, lower caste, or middle caste, whatever you call it. But if we read anywhere from Purusha Sukta in Rigveda, where they basically talk about all 4 Varnashram till Mahabharata, Ramayana, anywhere till now. The thing is, like in current society, like let's assume that in Hindus were bad and have caste system, just hypothetically. In modern world, in any democratic or any free society, there are people who going to work as an administrator. There are people who going to interest work in an IT. There are people who going to interest in work to building a houses. So the society is divided to run the proper society. If everybody going to be administrative, then what else things gonna happen? The society gonna collapse. So the Varnashram is actually divided in a way that we need all kind of people. And nowhere it says like who is higher or lower. There is nothing such thing. It's just like we need everybody in the society to run it properly. Because if you assume that, okay, like building a house, the one who is building a house, a construction person is lower, or the person who work in the IT is higher, or the administrative person is higher, then where are you going to live? you know. So the point being is we need everybody in the society to run the society properly, and that's why they divided this varnashram. And it's just a division in a way that, okay, we if somebody is interested in the kshatriya dharma, they can go and learn about it. They don't have to learn the whole Vedas. They don't have to work on the Vedas. There's a lot of people who only focus on the Tantra Vidya. And a lot of people doesn't aware that before in the Gurukul system, most of the people were learning the Tantra Vidya. They were not learning the Vedic system or the Vedas, because Vedas are not for everyone. It's so hard to complex. It's very complex Sanskrit to even read it, forget about to memorize the 16,000 plus shlokas. So the point is, like, every system is divided or created in a way that every society, like whatever you, as a free society, whatever you want to do it, you choose to do it. But the problem is, if you say like, okay, because I'm Brahmin, so my son should be Brahmin, that's wrong. That's not the right way to do it, because if he have capability, he can able to do it.
See, the thing is, I tell you one thing about the difficulty of Sanskrit. Now,
Yeah.
Chinese language is way more complex than even Sanskrit.
No, definitely.
People learn Chinese also.
No, my point is like the Vedic Sanskrit. You should learn the Sanskrit definitely.
If
But
you know Devanagari, you can
right,
easily read Sanskrit.
right.
For understanding, like, for example, if you know the Roman letters, you can
Mm-hmm.
read Spanish also, you can read Portuguese also,
Okay,
because they're written using the same Roman letters.
right.
And over the period of reading it and using
Mm-hmm.
Google Translator, you start understanding the meaning also.
Right,
So they people have to get used to it, because
right,
you see, it's a language of India.
right.
Sanskrit binds the entire India.
Yes,
And so if you can read Devanagari, you can read Sanskrit. So that
yes.
the point, the thing which, and also it also makes the practice a little bit differ. I'm differing from you here, because we
Mm-hmm.
need to practice it, because like everything, like, it's difficult to program in machine language, but
Right.
gradually you develop a C, COBOL, and then you have
Oh,
different
yeah.
languages there. Then you start communicating with the
No,
computer in a different language.
when I say the Sanskrit for the Vedas, my point is not that it's hard or easy. My point is like, do not start from Vedas. A lot of people should start from the Bhagavad Gita. That's the way
Exactly.
easiest way to learn the
Easiest,
Sanskrit.
easiest, easiest.
Or
And
Ashtavakra Gita, or like Guru Gita. Like we have all those books where you can start your Sanskrit chapters. Like
yeah,
read and understand. Read Ramayana. Ramayana is the easiest Sanskrit you can able to understand.
exactly. Valmiki Ramayana is the easiest Sanskrit. Then you can go
Right,
to Mahabharata Sanskrit.
right.
And then Vedic Sanskrit, you'll naturally start getting it, because
Because you understand the Sanskrit now a little bit, and there is the whole niruktas, where there's the whole vocabulary where you can able to, if you don't understand some words, you can able to basically, it's like how the kid is learning English. When you see some new word, you basically have your Oxford dictionary next to you and try to understand the meaning, and you can able to build your vocabulary and build your language. The same way you can go to the niruktas and then able to understand every single meaning of those letters which you don't understand in the Sanskrit.
see the one of the things is like when you write a Sanskrit, like, अगर हम दोनों आपस में बात कर रहे हैं फटाफट,
Mm-hmm.
तो the speed at which we speak is written in the speed at which it is spoken.
Yes.
So what you
Yes.
have to do is, like, what we do is हम लोग बहुत सारे words combine कर देते हैं.
Yeah.
It looks like a one large word. No.
Right.
It is sandhi. It is done sandhi. So you
Sandhi.
have to
Yeah.
read. You have to break. Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in just 2 lines in Sanskrit, you can write English worth of 20 lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much meaning is covered in just 2 lines. And
In just 2 lines.
एक और चीज है, Sanskrit is a very connotational language. Like what it is, it will be not in any other words. English is a
Mm-hmm.
denotational language, because a Hungarian might speak in a different way, American will speak in a different
Yeah,
way.
that accent. Yeah.
Yeah, the accent is different. And within USA, Louisiana will speak in a different way. New York will
Oh
speak in
yeah.
California will
Yeah.
speak in a different way.
Right.
And same as with English. New Zealander English is different. Australian English is different. Scottish English is different. Irish is different. Welsh is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same way. Everything is
Same
same.
way.
But in Sanskrit, the same word will be pronounced in the same way by anyone, anywhere.
Yeah. The swords should be correct.
Correct. Is everywhere. Like if I
Everywhere.
write,
Yeah.
if you say Pankaj Gandhi, just for
Yeah.
example, I'm not
Right.
defining.
Oh yeah.
I will exactly whatever you say, I'll write it.
Right,
Like
right.
the Michael can be, some people will say Michael, some people say Mikhail, some people will say
Yeah,
Mikhail.
right,
I can write all three sounds separately.
right, right,
Hmm.
right. Definitely, definitely.
So the Hindus were defanged, and we're doing the part two of the series where we want to say, hey, learn a Dhanurvidya, protect yourself. And
Mhm.
I don't believe in 2+2. दो बच्चे हम दो हमारे दो. We need to have हम दो हमारे तीन. You know, like
Yep.
that. Because otherwise the population, see, the whole thing is population control is only Hindus, they are doing controlling just the Hindus population, not the Muslim population, not the Christian population, because they follow the religious text. In
Mhm.
Sanatan Dharma, in Vedas, contraceptive is not allowed, just like any other culture. You have to control your senses more than the contraceptives.
Right, right.
And so don't get into that problem series, because we already decreased Hindu population by quite a lot. And ultimately, devtas have to come to protect it. So please don't call devta for this work. You have to do your karma. So please let us learn the philosophy. And then Pankaj also practices. I also practice archery, and start practicing and becoming a better sports person. Discipline, so that you know how to defend yourself. Yes, go ahead, Pankaj. I'll stop here. So we will
Yes.
continue with this.
Okay. So the Shabdvedi Vanuvidya, that's when we started it. So a lot of people also ask me that, okay, why? Yeah, this is like fake. Fake in the sense is like, oh, it's not possible because somebody can hear the sound. Arjun can able to do it. And that this is like a Prithviraj Chauhan can able to do it. And there are people I am know even in the 18th, 19th century can able to do this because like there is a proper training manual. Like it's basically tell you, and I put all those detail together here that how people used to can practice and how can you able to learn the Sabdavedi Bhanavidya. That they said like in the starting you basically have your friend or somebody standing with you and like not more than like 3 feet or 4 feet, like you can stand that far only, or I can say like 5 meter max, and then somebody just have like a rock and or the marble just throwing on the metal and keep hearing that noise. You don't even have to release the arrow, just wait till hear the noise and try to focus and concentration where that noise is coming from, how you can able to hear it, which direction is coming from. Learn that first, and then once you're able to understand more that hey, I know which direction the voice is coming from, then you can able to start practicing the shooting. And then the moment gonna come that you can able to hit the target exactly where the noise coming from. And then from there you can start practicing. It's like okay, I'm gonna gradually increase now. First we'll do for 10 feet, then let's do 20 feet, then do 30 feet, and then so on and so far. So this is how we can practice. It's like if somebody tell you like I can do 100-meter arrow shoot in the first day, you can't do that because you don't even have any knowledge about how and which angle do you shoot the arrow and anything. So start from very basics and then we can go gradually increase. So this is what the Sabdavedi Vidya is. It's very simple, but it's very hard because you need very much focus and concentration, and then only you can able to do it. So that's why this one is called the most advanced archery in the Nurveda. And then like yoga breath control. So a lot of people also realize that okay, how can we able to breathing control, because people get easy. It's archery is the game or it's an art where you can sometimes easily frustrate that when you're releasing an arrow it's not hitting a target at all, so people get upset and stuff. So that's why they say is like whenever you're practicing an archery you need to be a properly pranayam cycle, like, and not only pranayam, you need to do whole Astang yoga in the sense up to the pranayam, like not up to the samadhi, but like yam, niyam, pratyahar, and asana and then pranayam. So at least if we can able to get there, your body can understand, and then you can easily able to focus on it. And also with that kumbha and pura breath control, you can able to easily focus, like because normally when I practice it, like when you do long breathe, you do a couple of long breath and then you stop your breath when you focused on, and then while you're releasing an arrow, with the arrow you release your breath. So that's how I practice, because it's helped me to that concentrate better, and then with that I can put the whole force outside with while I releasing an arrow. So this is how I practice it. But it's very important, because lot like if you don't practice with the pranayam, you can able to learn it, but then archery, but then it's not going to be the correct way or the right way, in a way that you cannot able to figure it out. Is like some days is working, some days not working. For consistency, we need to understand the pranayam cycle for that too. And then I want to talk a little bit about the army division. So we heard this word, the Chaturangini Sena, or also there is a word for Chaturanga, which is used for the modern the chess game. So Chaturanga and Chaturangini Sena is actually very old word. A lot of people say, well, Chaturanga was invented during the time of the Gupta period. No, it's not true, because in Mahabharata we talk about Chaturangini Sena. So if we're talking about till Mahabharata, so the Chaturanga game can go up to that far, and and that game is more like a strategic game for uh, how can you able to prepare your army for when you go for the war. And in that, like there are like Chaturanga means Chatur means four, and that's why there's a four elements. One is elephant, chariot, horseback soldiers or cavalry, and the foot soldiers. So what they do basically is just give you the basic details about what are the use of that. Like elephant train for marching in the fort, and entering the forest fort, breaking walls, creating fear in the enemy's army, and making new roads and cleaning existing ones. So that was the main use in the army of elephants. And then the chariot basically filled the gap in the second line. Like whenever we talk about the different view or different array of army, that time the chariots were basically covered the distance between the elephant, and that's how whenever they make different views, they basically put elephant and chariot together to at the front line for the war. And then to protect the elephant, keep the enemy at distance, blockage the enemy stand, and stand at the head of the battle area. And then the horseback obtain the knowledge of wood, country, and the road, so they basically can run far distance on the horses, so they can able to realize like, okay, which way we have to go, which way we have to march our army. And protection of the alliance of the troop, and frightening the enemy by nagging, going far away, performing rapid movement, and destroying hostile troops. So these are the main purposes of the horseback archery. Archers or soldiers, I can say. And then the first soldiers are the cleaning well and passages, making roads, camps, and royal tents, protecting the granary, arsenal, and treasuries, make the fortification and defense of the army. So these are the main characteristics was defined in Niti Prakashika, and which is Dhanurved, that how the Chaturangini Sena should work. And then this is the army division about defined in the Niti Prakashika, and similarly, it also have the same number in Mahabharata. So the units called the Patti, Senamukh, Gulam, Gana, Vahini, Pratna, Jamu, Anikini, Akshumini. So I'm not gonna read the whole numbers. I'm just telling you the numbers detail that okay, Patti have like one chariot, one elephant, 5-foot soldiers, and 3 horseback uh, archers or horseback soldiers. And then the Senamukh have 3 chariot, 30 elephant, 300,000 foot soldiers, and 3,000 horseback archers. Same way it goes till Akshuyini Sena. So, and then we heard about in Mahabharata that there are like 18 Akshuyini Sena total fought. So we can imagine the immense number of people that fought that in that particular war. And then there's a ethics. So in Agni Puran, and also in I'm forgetting the another book, but in Agni Puran is defined it, and also it's also defined in I think Vishnu Dharmotta. Yes, that's where they have it, the ethics of the war. And in ethics, they basically explain that we should not attack. And this is it's and again like just to be fair in a way that The ethics of the war only applied when both the armies are following the same rules. Because and that's when we heard the story that Prithviraj Chauhan lost the war, or it's because of his ethics, not because of that he's not able to fight. The problem was like he let the go Muhammad Ghori because he followed the code of conduct of the war or ethics of the war. But the problem was the opposition army is not following the same, and I think that was his biggest mistake, in my opinion. And that's when he lose the war. And from then onwards, we have more Turkic invasion in India started. But what the ethics of the war say that whenever the person is sleeping or laying down, you should not attack him. So if you're fighting in the our war, and if the person lay down and doesn't have any weapon in his hand, you should not attack him. Let him give him a chance to grab his weapon and refight again. And the second is prasupta, sleeping person, so you cannot attack anybody in the night. That's like another ethics they talk about. Unmat, mentally degrade man. If somebody have mental issues or anything like that, you should not attack that person. And then akacha, one who lose undergarments, like who doesn't have clothes or anything, which means that if the person is coming from the river bath or something, you should not attack that person. And then shastravarjat, an unarmed person. So if somebody doesn't have arm, you should not attack the person. Bala, a child, any child, you should not attack. Istri, a woman, you should not attack any woman who is not in the war. Deen, a weak, and therefore one who has surrendered. So if somebody surrendered, that's what happened with the Muhammad Ghori. He surrendered in the first war, and the Prithviraj let him go because he already surrendered. And that because he was following the ethics of the war. And I think this was his biggest mistake that he did at that time. And Dhawant, a fleeing man, like if somebody is running away from the war, you should not attack them, let them go. So these are the ethics of the war, which was defined. But the problem is like this was on this ethics, and this is whole my opinion that it's only and should only work for the people who follow the law of war in the same way, the way Dhanurved or the archers or the Indian soldiers were following. And even in the modern term, that a lot of like whenever we have like we had this a small fight or kind of like in the China-India border, that we have like laws the signed the treaties that we should not have guns or we should not have guns to attack each other. They signed the treaty in 1994, and even after that there was a attack happen and some Indian soldiers die and some because they use some kind of rods and stuff to attack. So something like that need to be clear and understandable for both the armies. And then this is the Dhanurved philosophy, and which I already told before also, but I'm just gonna read it quickly. That if a shooter can concentrate in technical perspective execution on each shot, he is not practicing multiple shots, but he's shooting a multiple training session on one shot each. This is what I was trying to explain yesterday also, that whenever you shoot an arrow, make sure that if some bad arrow happen, forget about it. Every arrow you're releasing, focus in your way that this is the only arrow you have it, and this is how you should train yourself for the practice, so that you will not focus on what can happen in the next arrow, what happened in the past arrow, and you continue practice on your Vidya, and you will easily come through with only able to focus on that one particular shot. And this is what it's called the philosophy of the Dhanurved. So this is for today. Aditya, let me know if you have any question.
So one of the things which really strikes out, like you mentioned about Prithviraj Chauhan, one of the things I'd like to highlight, because there is a new book which has come out.
Okay.
And by Omendru Ratna. And I
yes,
got this book as a gift by him or one of his publishers. And he critically proved that Akbar was defeated multiple times.
Oh, yes. All right.
And so the whole, again, the narrative is like defanging them all the time, killing cows in public to tease Hindus. By the way, cow killing is banned in India by the Constitution of India. Article
Mhm.
48 of the Constitution of India bans killing of cows for food. Now,
Right.
and so all these things are being told to Hindus, and everybody knows only Hindus follow the law in India. And rest everybody, majority of them don't follow the law because they
Mhm.
want to follow the Arabic law.
Mhm.
But it is also very clear that when the Sharia is implemented in any land, the first people to flee are the Muslims.
Right.
So,
Just.
like if the Sharia is put only on Muslims in India, then
Mhm.
the Muslims have to go to Afghanistan or some other country where they want to go to.
Mhm.
See,
Right.
the point is, the point is, India is rich because of Hindus, not because of anyone else.
Mhm.
And other countries where the Muslim majority population was there, they are all poor. They are all mostly on loan. You know how it happens. Like in the US, all the Muslims are running away from their countries to come to US.
Mhm.
And they wherever they go, they want to make it like them, and they call it Islamophobia.
Right.
And we have a lot of Muslim audience, and they know what
Mhm.
exactly I'm talking. They all have run away from their own countries.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to run away from their own lands. See,
Mhm.
the reason why the Hindus have been defanged is by keeping them away from their shastra, like what we are discussing today.
Right. And
What do
I
you have
think
to say?
that's I think, yep, that's important to understand and make sure that they're aware of it, because like, and again, like I say always, is like the best way is to teach the people. Give me a minute, I'm just changing this. Yeah, the best way is to basically help the people to understand their own culture first, and understand their own uh, like our literature first, and not just the way we heard it, the way it is in the books, and I think it's very important, and that was the whole goal for mine, to bring at least one thing from my side, to see if people can aware of it and have them with the outside and able to practice and understand and learn about it.
I think that's the only solution. Like if people get a taste of what they are talking,
Right.
then even Sonia Gandhi will have to wear hijab. So,
Right.
so Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi should all move in hijab. If they like so much, like if they
Right.
long, believe me, India did not have. Maybe I'll have some other researcher, and I'll
Uh-huh.
prove it. And I proved in my books there was no parda system for in the Hindu women ever,
Mhm.
and it was
Oh
forced on them.
no, definitely not. And I even for them is like, even because what I do, I whenever I read the books, I try to go a lot of like library and museums and try to find all the ancient, like 16th, 15th centuries paintings. You can see the culture lot from there, other than reading, because the visually you can able to see like how people were that time, and and even the Muslims that time, they never wear hijab or burqa or nothing. They have it like what the Hindu women were wearing. Exactly the same jewelries, same clothing style, same way of doing things. But it's like they just don't put the tilak and stuff. That's the only differences. So the point being, it's just like all this radicalization happening is actually happening after the what we call the oil money. It started after that. It wasn't like that before, especially in the Indian subcontinent.
No, it was way before that also.
Hmm.
See, the thing is, oil money, the biggest beneficiary of the oil trade are the Muslims, Middle Eastern.
Right, right, right.
So before that, the way they captured those lands
Hmm.
is exactly what they're behaving.
Okay.
Like the thing is, the oil is happened in 1979 or
Hmm.
little before the 1973. It started 79. It became a big thing,
Right,
and that's where all the big cars started coming in, and that's where the Middle
right.
East became important for the West.
Hmm.
But before that, they were on camels, and they
Hmm.
did the same thing.
Right.
And now, if we put like in Saudi Arabia, the punishment for stealing is cutting the hands.
Correct. Yes.
Punishment for kidnapping somebody is death. If that is implemented only on Muslims all over the world, believe
Hmm.
me, not even 15% of Muslims will be left. Because
Yes.
it's good to, like, in Indian society, in American society, we can speak freely.
Right.
But in their countries, you cannot. You go to their
No,
countries, you cannot speak freely. Even we
no,
cannot go to. I don't go there because of this reason.
no, right. And
Because
even I don't know, because there is a religious freedom over there in general. Like you can put like your own God's statue and everything in your home. I don't know whole detail because I never been there, but I heard the stories.
yeah. So thank you so much, Pankaj Gandhi ji, for
Yes, thank you.
putting in focus on Dhanurveda, which is very
Yes.
important.
Yeah,
And
hopefully, see, whenever I get time, I try to put information as much as possible. And whoever is watching, I'm just going to tell people that there is a book called Niti Prakashika, and it's by the Urmisha. And if whoever going to learn, it's basically say in Hindi, but it's if you go in there, it's actually in English. It's just the cover page is printed in Hindi, and you can find in Amazon. This one is like one of the Indian manuscript. The National Mission of Manuscript by government is basically bringing all the manuscripts and translating in the critical art versions. And this is if the people who want to learn the very detailed Dhanurveda, they should go at least get this book and start reading
yeah,
and understand that because Niti Prakashika is not just the Dhanurveda, it's the Niti Shastra.
that's
It's
right.
also tell you about the politics and stuff, what the duty of the kings is, and like how the army division should be, and what are the salaries of each and every person in the army should be, how they should basically get rewarded when they win the war. Lot of detailing with very critically. So it's very amazing book, and that's why I want to recommend it everyone to at least read it.
Thank you so much, Pankaj Gandhi
Yes.
ji, and thank you other viewers for watching it. Do comment on the video. Let us know your feedback. Thank you and namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.